Thanks for asking. It is something I've been meaning to actually post a video about. I've talked about it in my live streams. And so the quick answer is my dad's a professional clown. When I was 7, he went to a convention, met a guy named Ralph Dewey, and came back ready to learn balloons. And as he learned, I learned. Now, there's actually a little more to the story, because one, it's not a hobby for me. I know there are those that, like it's just, they dabble in it, they do some volunteer work, they do whatever, or just do it for fun. I do make money at it. It's not my full-time line of work, although it has been. Pre-COVID, I was full-time. Excuse me. So it is currently a side hustle. But to expand on the story, so as a 7-year-old, Dad goes to a clown convention called Joey to the World, meets the guy there named Ralph Dewey. Ralph Dewey is kind of known as the godfather of the balloon dog. He has hand-drawn a book, stapled it together in his living room, photocopying stapled together in his living room, and he made one of the first really prescribed methods to teach and repeat a balloon dog, and it was known as the Dewey dog. And it's a simple 3-twist balloon dog. And you fold over, twist, fold over, twist. You do it one more time. And again, 3 times. And you have your basic balloon dog. Now, you take from that and you grow and you learn more by attending local jams and stuff like that. And I did a lot of that, because my dad was hosting a lot of them, growing up. But back then it really was kind of a hobby for me. Now, we'll also say, I didn't learn to mouth inflate until I was 12, and I did that at a concert. Something about feeling the bass, just rumble through me. I kind of finally understood the physics behind it, although I didn't know it at the time. But go through high school, doing it. I would go to the jams. I would go to, matter of fact, my dad became what's called a certified balloon artist through Qualitex, a company that's no longer around, or a brand that's no longer around. And I would go with him to those, and so I learned decor and learned all of that as well. But it was always one of those things where that was Dad's dream, that wasn't mine. And so as I got into adulthood, I started making a little money here and there. I didn't see it as something I wanted to do. Now that changed at this point about 8 years ago. The church we were attending, they had some ladies at an organization called Gospel for Asia that came out to the church a couple of times a year. Well, I mean, they attended the church because the organization is based in the same town, but they came out and did balloons. And when we would have baptism celebrations, because that church really celebrated baptisms, it was a party. Excuse me. And we would have family celebrations and Easter and all that, and so they'd be out there making balloon animals. And they were doing it as a missions thing. They learned, a couple of things, and they were going to go into the mission field and use that to reach children and teach. But I approached them, and because one of the celebrations they had a long line, And I asked them if they needed help, and they're like, "Oh no, like we don't have time to show you or anything." I said, "Well, can I see a balloon?" And they gave me an uninflated one, and I blew it up and made a dog real quick, and they were like, "Oh, okay, yes, you can help." And come to find out from that they were like actually leaving to go on missions like fairly soon after that, and wouldn't be available for any of the other things for the church. So I started doing things for the church, and along with still working for Dad uh, at that time. And the one of the community outreach events that I did through the church was kind of led by an optometrist, because she did free vision screenings for kids in a community that they didn't really focus on any of that. The kids barely went to school because the parents or grandparents or whoever they were with were a lot of times didn't have transportation, were drug addled, whatever. So this it was a very rough community. But they asked if I could go out there and twist for them. It was a 2-day event, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm out there and I'm twisting, and I don't have a menu at the time. I'm just making whatever the kids request, and the optometrist was really impressed, and she asked if I did parties, and I said yes, we do. And go to hand her my dad's business card. Well, the worship leader that had asked me to join snatched the business card out of her hand and said, "I'll get you his details," talking about mine. And we talked about it. I went home. My wife was out there too, and at this point, she's not twisting yet. She's just kind of helping facilitate, helping serve. But went home. We stopped by Walmart on the way home, and I picked up some business card paper, printed off business cards using the Balloon Dog logo, and it was actually a multicolor logo at that time. Oh yes, this is the one I made. See, I've got balloon dogs everywhere. But that was kind of what kick-started it as, what, this is not just something I do for Dad. This is something that I enjoy, something I enjoy doing. And still, so I started really kind of promoting myself, doing things on my own without going through Dad. Not competing with him, but there's plenty of work to go around. But the go even further, a couple of years into it, and really got to the point where I realized it wasn't even just something that I enjoyed. It was a God-given talent, gift. And so I've poured more into it from there, even. And got to do my first convention, because I was always the person that stayed home doing the work so that Dad could do the convention scene. But last year I got to do Capital Kidvention, and came home from that again with a renewed vigor. And I had kind of started doing some of the balloon stuff on TikTok, and did a lot of it up through summer last year. Then came down, got exhausted and everything, and kind of put that on hiatus. But I've gotten back into it starting this year, and we'll eventually get back into a regular live streaming schedule. So hope that answers your question, and thanks for asking it. See you next time.